So I never thought I'd be sharing this story on Reddit, but y'all keep asking for the tea after I posted that TikTok about toxic exes last week, so here goes. Grab your White Claws because this is gonna be a wild ride. I met Caleb 3 years ago at my cousin's New Year's party in downtown Atlanta. He was charming AF, tall, built like he actually used his Lifetime Fitness membership, and had this smile that could make any girl swoon. We hit it off immediately, talking for hours about our dreams while everyone else was getting wasted on fireball shots. When the ball dropped, he kissed me instead of cheering, and I swear I felt that Disney movie magic everyone talks about. Fast forward 2 years, and Caleb popped the question at Centennial Olympic Park with a ring that looked straight out of a K Jewelers commercial. I was over the moon, posting that engagement pic that got like 2K likes on Instagram. We moved in together in a cute apartment in Buckhead, started planning our wedding, and even opened a joint savings account for our future home. Everything was going great until about 6 months ago. Caleb started acting sketchy, always on his phone, working late at his marketing job, and being super vague about his weekend plans. I tried not to be that girlfriend, the one who's all paranoid and checking his location on Find My Friends every 5 minutes. But something felt off. Then came the bombshell. Caleb told me he had this super important business trip to Miami for a marketing conference, said his company was sending him to network with potential clients, and that it would be huge for his career. He even showed me the hotel reservation at the Fontainebleau, one of those fancy beachfront resorts where celebrities hang out. I was happy for him, even packed his favorite polo shirts and made him a playlist for the flight. The day after he left, I was checking our joint account to pay the electric bill when I noticed a withdrawal of exactly $3,500. My stomach dropped faster than the Tower of Terror at Disney. That was our money, savings we'd been putting aside each month for wedding expenses and our honeymoon fund. I called Caleb right away, but straight to voicemail. Texted him, no response. That's when my spidey senses went into overdrive. I checked his Instagram, and this fool had forgotten to hide his stories from me. There he was, on a yacht in Miami's Biscayne Bay, with some blonde I'd never seen before sitting on his lap. The caption, "Living my best life with my ride or die." Excuse. Me, I went full detective mode. Reverse image searched the girl, found her Instagram, public thank goodness, and saw she'd been posting lovey-dovey pics with my fiancé for the past 3 months. Her captions were all, "Finally taking my man on the vacation he deserves," and "When he surprises you with a Miami getaway." Surprise? Yeah, with my freaking money. I took screenshots of everything, the bank withdrawal, his Instagram stories, her posts, everything. Then I made some calls, first to our wedding venue, canceled, then to the florist, the caterer, the DJ, all canceled. Then I packed up all his stuff in garbage bags and left them with the building manager. But I wasn't done. The $3,500 wasn't just any money. It was what I'd saved working double shifts at my nursing job for almost a year. So I called my cousin, who's a lawyer, and asked what my options were. Turns out, since we weren't married yet and the account was joint but the deposits were traceable to my paychecks, I could file a police report for theft and take him to small claims court. So that's exactly what I did. Filed the paperwork the same day and had him served with papers right there in Miami. According to the process server, Caleb was at a beach bar with his new girl when he got the documents. Apparently, his face turned whiter than those sand beaches. He was enjoying on my dime. Caleb started blowing up my phone, leaving voicemails about how it was all a misunderstanding, how the girl was just a friend, and how he was going to pay me back. Classic cheater lines, am I right? I blocked his number and all his social media accounts. Court date was set for 3 weeks later. In the meantime, I found out through mutual friends that Caleb's side piece dumped him as soon as she discovered he'd stolen money for their romantic getaway. Karma working overtime. The day of the hearing, Caleb showed up looking like a hot mess, unshaven, wearing wrinkled khakis like he'd just pulled them out of the hamper, and with dark circles under his eyes that not even the best Maybelline concealer could fix. The judge took one look at my evidence and ruled in my favor. Caleb had to repay the full $3,500 plus court costs. The cherry on top? When the judge mentioned that theft cases could affect future employment, Caleb looked like he was going to pass out right there in the courtroom. I walked out feeling like Fiancé after dropping Lemonade, powerful, free, and ready to rebuild my life. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of my glow-up story. Updated. Y'all, the support on my last post was insane. My inbox is blowing up faster than Target on Black Friday, so I figured I'd give you guys the update you've been asking. For after the court hearing, I needed to clear my head and heal my heart. Nothing says fresh start like a total life makeover, right? So I did what any self-respecting woman would do. I dyed my hair, went from brunette to honey blonde with some caramel highlights, joined F45 training, and booked myself a solo trip to, guess where? Miami. That's right, I was taking back what Caleb tried to steal from me, including my love for travel. I stayed at a cute boutique hotel in South Beach that was way more my vibe than that pretentious Fontainebleau where Caleb took his side piece. The first morning there, I woke up early, grabbed a cold brew from a local coffee shop, and just walked along the beach as the sun came up. Something about the waves washing in and out made me feel like the universe was literally cleansing away all that negative energy. On my second day, I was sitting at a beachside bar, sipping a mojito and posting some pics on my Instagram. Petty, maybe, but I wanted Caleb to see what he was missing, when this photographer guy approached me. At first, I was like, here we go, another Miami player with some lame pickup line, but turns out, he was legit. Marcus worked for a travel magazine and was looking for people to feature in a solo travelers finding their joy piece. We got to talking, and I ended up telling him my whole story, the theft, the betrayal, the court case, all of it. Instead of the pity look I'd been getting from friends back home, Marcus was impressed by how I handled everything. He asked if he could interview me for the article and take some professional shots for the magazine. Heck yes. The photo shoot was so much fun. Me laughing in the surf, walking down Ocean Drive in a sundress, watching the sunset from a rooftop bar. Marcus was super professional and made me feel completely comfortable. When he showed me the preview shots, on his camera, I literally couldn't believe it was me. I looked happy, really happy, for the first time in months. The article came out 2 weeks later in this digital travel magazine with a decent following. They titled it, From Heartbreak to Freedom, How One Woman Reclaimed Her Joy in Miami. It was surreal seeing my story in print with those gorgeous photos accompanying it. The magazine shared it on their Instagram, and it started getting shared. A lot. My phone kept buzzing with notifications as people found my personal Instagram from the tags. My follower count jumped from like 700 to over 10,000 in 3 days. The comments were filled with other women sharing their own stories of betrayal and recovery. I started responding to everyone, creating this little community of badass women, lifting each other up. One follower suggested I start a travel blog focusing on redemption trips, traveling to heal after life's disappointments. The idea clicked immediately. I set up a simple website using Squarespace, started a separate Instagram account called Heartbreak Traveler, and began documenting my Miami experience in more detail. Meanwhile, the court had given Caleb 60 days to pay me back the $30,500 plus court costs. Around day 45, I got a Venmo request, the audacity, from him asking for an extension because he was going through some financial difficulties. Apparently, his marketing firm put him on probation after the theft case came to light. Turns out, they don't like employees who steal money. Who knew? And he was struggling to make rent. Did I feel bad? For about 0.5 seconds. Then I remembered how he hadn't felt bad using my hard-earned money to impress another woman. I declined his request and sent back a screenshot of the court order instead. Petty? Maybe? Satisfying? Absolutely. By the time I returned to Atlanta, my new travel blog had gained enough traction that a few small hotels in Florida were reaching out offering complimentary stays if I'd feature them. I was still working as a nurse, but I started using my days off to take weekend trips, building my content library and follower count. Each post would include not just pretty pictures, but reflections on healing, moving forward, and finding joy in independence. Around the 60-day mark, Caleb showed up at my apartment building. Thankfully, I'd already moved to a different place across town, so the new tenant, a 6'4" MMA enthusiast named Dave, told him to kick rocks. Caleb then tried to find me at the hospital where I worked, but hospital security is no joke. They escorted him out before he even made it to my floor. He finally resorted to having his mom call me. Yes, seriously, like we're in high school or something. She started with the whole, he's really sorry routine, then transitioned to, he's really struggling, and finally landed on, he needs more time to pay you back. I politely told her that her son's poor planning wasn't my emergency and that the court had been very clear about the repayment timeline. The day after the deadline, I filed for wage garnishment. The law in Georgia allows creditors, which is what I was now considered, to garnish up to 25% of someone's disposable earnings. The paperwork was processed within 2 weeks, and soon after, I received the first payment directly from Caleb's employer. Plot twist? Caleb had lost his marketing job and was now working at Chick-fil-A. The garnishment was coming out of his fast food paycheck. A mutual friend told me he'd been complaining about it nonstop, saying I was ruining his life. Meanwhile, I was out here creating a whole new one for myself. My travel blog continued growing. I expanded from Florida to weekend trips across the Southeast, Savannah, Charleston, Nashville, New Orleans. Each destination became a chapter in my recovery story, and followers ate it up. I partnered with a women's empowerment coach to create a Heal Through Travel online workshop that sold out its first 100 spots in under an hour. 6 months after the Miami incident, I had enough followers and brand deals to consider taking my side hustle full-time. I cut back my nursing hours to part-time and focused more on creating content, speaking at women's events, and planning group trips for women going through similar situations. The universe has a funny way of bringing things full circle. Remember Marcus, the photographer from Miami? We kept in touch professionally, with him occasionally sending photography gigs my way when brands needed content creators in Atlanta. We developed this easy friendship, texting about industry stuff and sharing crazy travel stories. When I planned a return trip to Miami for the 1-year anniversary of my freedom journey, I asked if he'd be available for another photo shoot. He not only agreed, but suggested we collaborate on a special feature for his magazine about the transformation of Heartbreak Traveler from personal healing to movement. I won't say there were immediate sparks when we reconnected in Miami, but there was definitely a comfort and mutual respect that felt different. We spent 3 days shooting all over the city, having deep conversations about life, dreams, and yes, past relationships. He told me about his own heartbreak 3 years earlier that had pushed him to pursue travel photography. By the last night over dinner at a tiny Cuban restaurant in Little Havana, I realized I was actually having fun with a man again. Not just the polite kind of fun, but the genuine, belly-laughing, lose-track-of-time kind. As for Caleb, last I heard, he's still at Chick-fil-A, still paying off his debt to me, and still complaining to anyone who'll listen about his crazy ex who took him to court. Meanwhile, I'm approaching 500,000 followers, just signed a book deal for The Heartbreak Traveler's Guide to Rebuilding Your Life, and I'm planning my first international group retreat in Bali. The best revenge isn't just living well, it's thriving, in ways your ex could never imagine. Final update. It's been exactly 2 years since the Miami incident, and y'all wanted the final chapter, so here it is. Remember when I mentioned Caleb showed up in Atlanta begging for money? Well, that wasn't the last time. About 3 months ago, I was leaving a speaking event at a hotel downtown when I spotted a familiar figure in the Starbucks lobby. Caleb was sitting there in his Chick-fil-A uniform, clearly waiting for me. Turns out he'd been following my public appearance schedule on my website. He approached with this rehearsed speech about how seeing my success inspired him and how he wanted to collaborate on content about forgiveness and second chances. Translation: he wanted a piece of my platform now that I'm making 6 figures from my brand deals and retreats. I just smiled, said, "No thank you," and walked away while he was mid-sentence. The old me would have engaged, argued, maybe even felt sorry for him. The new me? She knows her worth and doesn't waste energy on people who didn't value her when they had the chance. The garnishment finally ended last month, debt paid in full. To celebrate, I took myself on a luxury trip to the Maldives, staying in one of those overwater bungalows you see all over Instagram, posted the receipt for my paid-in-full court judgment alongside my ocean view. Petty? Perhaps. Satisfying? Absolutely, Azwar. For Marcus, we're taking things slow, but he's coming to Atlanta next month to meet my family. Turns out healing doesn't have a timeline, and sometimes the universe sends you exactly what you need when you're finally ready for it. Life isn't perfect, but it's beautifully, authentically mine. And nobody, especially not a Chick-fil-A cashier, with a history of theft, gets to steal my joy ever again.